Have you ever wondered how to set up your music project like a business? In this video, I'll walk you through that process and why running your band like a business could mean more money in your pocket come tax time. What's going on, everybody? My name is Adam. Welcome to the channel. I'm here to tell you how you can make good money playing music. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. In the process of making content and coaching other musicians, I get asked a lot about the specifics of running your band like a business, so I figured this would be a good topic to cover in a video. And before we get too into the specifics, I did just want to note that I am based in the United States and all of the recommendations I'm going to provide are for US-based musicians. For some musicians, going to the trouble of incorporating your band may not be necessary. If you're a true hobbyist and playing gigs brings in like less than $1,000 a year, you can more than likely just write that off in your personal taxes. But if you're at the point where you're running a band and you're cutting checks for the other musicians, incorporating your group may be a good idea. Here are the main benefits for incorporating your band. It'll allow you to set up a separate bank account for your gig money. It can help reduce tax and personal liability for your band. If you want to finance larger purchases like a PA or a van, it's much easier to secure business loans than personal ones. And it raises your professionalism to your clients. People hiring you may feel more comfortable writing a check to the band as opposed to Jerry, your bass player. To me though, the big one here is tax liability. If you're the one who gets the check at the end of the night, you're also the one who's responsible for all of that income when tax season rolls around. Incorporating will allow you to write off the other musicians' cuts as contract labor and reduce your overall income reporting to the IRS. Not to mention mileage, gear purchases, and all of the other incidentals that come with playing out regularly. Personally, all of my music projects are run through a sole proprietor LLC. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Setting up an LLC insulates your personal assets and finances from your bands. That means if God forbid your PA fell over and hurt somebody, they would end up having to sue the LLC and not you personally and try to take your house away or whatever. There are other options for incorporating like a DBA or an S Corp, but personally I think an LLC is the best fit for most musicians. When I set up my LLC, I opted to do it under the name of an agency and not my individual bands. The reason being is that when I set up the LLC, I already had multiple projects and it didn't make sense to set up separate business entities for each of them, especially since I was the one doing all the logistics and financials. So whether I'm playing a solo gig, doing sub work, or my 80s band plays a show, all of that money ends up going into the same business account. The steps for creating an LLC will probably vary state to state. For me though, it was as simple as filling out a form on the Secretary of State's website and paying a fee. Once you have an EIN or an employee identification number, you can go about applying for a business bank account. I personally use a bank called Novo, which is an online bank that caters to small business owners and offers some really cool resources for people like us. They also offer a way to implement a profit-first business model, which is a way for small businesses to manage their finances better. It's something that I learned about recently and is absolutely incredible. You should definitely look into it. I'll include a link to Novo in the description. Just note that it may be an affiliate link and I may get a small commission if you opt to go that route. And while we're talking about finances, this kind of setup will require some bookkeeping. If you're new to this, you may want to consider reaching out to an accountant to help you get things set up. Or if you've been doing this for a while like I have, you can also use a service like QuickBooks Self-Employed, which is what I use. They offer a really great way of managing your finances and expenses over the course of the year so that when tax season rolls around, you're not completely stressed out trying to track down receipts and that kind of thing. I'll include a link for them in the description also. Here's some other things to consider before going down this path. If you're in a band and your band is incorporating together, you're probably going to need to create an LLC operating agreement. Going into business with other people can cause really weird dynamics, and an operating agreement forces you to write out the specific rights and responsibilities for every single member so that you can avoid having these really nasty conversations down the road. Also, if you've got a lawyer friend, it might be a good idea to add them to the LLC application as a representative. This is just another step in further separating you from your business. It's not 100% necessary, but something that I would recommend. You will need to renew your LLC annually. For me, that's $100 a year. I do it through the Secretary of State's website, and it's another thing that I write off as a business expense. Just note that once you create an LLC, you are going to start to get tons of mail. Most of that mail are from companies who are trying to prey on small business owners who don't know any better. I've received tons of mail that looks like official documents about things that I need to pay for or renew in order to stay current. 99.9% of those are total scams, and you need to make sure that you read the fine print before you send money off to anything. I think that wraps things up. Hopefully that was more informative than scary, and just as always, if you ever have any questions, feel free to email me directly or leave a comment on this video. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We post new videos here every single Friday. Also consider supporting us on Patreon. We've got some cool perks like these brand new stickers. These are patron exclusive, as well as our Slack channel, which is filled with other musicians just like you looking to make good money playing music. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time.